So, Key, Jayden was your man on Monday. What did he prove last night?
You know, he just, like I just said, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected. Like, it's just something about him and his approach to the. Look, I've been knowing him since high school, and I watched him at Arizona State as a freshman try to learn how to be a college quarterback, and then he goes to LSU and he develops. His junior year at LSU, they was mad at him because he didn't do what they thought he should have done in LSU in the SEC conference. And then he comes back a senior year, he wins the Heisman Trophy, becomes the second pick to the Washington Commanders, and he's been hitting on all cylinders ever since. Now they had a nice little 3-game slide right there, but it wasn't like it was his fault.
Right.
He still played well in those defeats for the most part, as far as my eyes can see. The real deal, like Coach Quinn said, is things out there that you see in a wow factor with quarterbacks like that you just can't teach. Mm-hmm. It's just his ability. It's something you just can't teach. You can't teach at all.
What did he prove to you, Michael?
To me, first of all, we can all say he locked down the Roy. That we can put away. But in this league, if you play great late, you can become great. And that's what this dude is doing. We're watching something I think that is very spectacular. Look at what he's done now. How many game-winning drives has he had already as a rookie? He has 12 pass TDs in the fourth quarter or in overtime. That's the most in one season in NFL history for a rookie quarterback. That's the key. When he three pass TDs, rushed for 125 yards. Never done before. I'm like, how was that never done before? We had people like Michael Vick. We had people like, you know what I mean, never done about rookie. Now, there's some other guys. Mike Vick did it when he became an Eagle. But just think about how hard it is. It didn't even look like he does it. Didn't like he went for 125 yards. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I didn't realize he rushed for 127.
Right. It's just so smooth. And it's not the spectacular things like we watch Michael Vick. It's not or the Lamar Jackson. It's just damn effective. And you come out of the game and like, he had what? You see what I mean? Because like he just keep moving. And he doesn't get up. He's like, yeah. So you say, man, how many yards is that he got? You know, it's just, it's incredible. It really is incredible. And I'm telling you, that's going to be the key. He hadn't lost a game in December. You see what he's building? Mm-hmm. I don't lose late. That means I'm going to be great in the playoffs and hopefully win some Super Bowls.
This is getting tough, everybody, for me. This is getting tough, and this is probably the biggest wild card for me in the NFC. I'm looking down the line, and I know these guys are more proven than him, the OG quarterbacks. You know, you got Stafford, you got Goff, Baker Mayfield. I mean, I think he's the best. Like, I'm just thinking,
you think he's the best quarterback in the NFC? I think he's the best quarterback
in the NFC. You know, nobody else. I feel like some of these other quarterbacks, they need to be in certain situations. We're seeing that with Sam Darnold. We're like, the only one probably just flat out you can say that's been there, done that is Stafford. And I'll give him that. He's an OG. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But outside of that, man, he's definitely the most talented.
Yeah.
Definitely the most. That's hands down. When you look at the list, he's definitely the most talented in the NFC. But look, he's going to be.
I would probably say in the NFC, if I look at the quarterbacks, he's probably working with the least.
I was going to say that too.
Right? I mean, because when you think about it, Stafford got Cooper Kupp and Puka, right? And Sean McVay. Then you look at what Philly has. You look at Minnesota, what they have. You look at Detroit, what they have. Jordan Love got some weapons at the perimeter with Dobbs and Watson and them. McLaurin is all right. I mean, McLaurin is a guy who is a true one. Hurts is a little older at the tight end position. Robinson at the running back spot is solid. He's a starting running back, but it's not.
This is a good point.
Christian McCaffrey or nobody like that.
This is a good point.
Yeah, they're going to be the most feared team in the playoffs. You know why? Because they playing with house money, and they don't got nothing to lose, and the pressure's on everybody else.
Yeah,
Baker got Mike Evans.
Dude. That's a great point when we talk about the talent he has around him.
Right.
And not just what they're doing now, but where Washington can go now. You know, you go and start putting things around this kid and you're just going to keep seeing him go. So, yeah, it's an impressive. It was an impressive first year. This is an impressive first year as we saw with C.J. Stroud last year now. And for some reason, I just feel like this is even more impressive just the way he's winning games late. And I think that'll help as we get in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think we needed any more confirmation that he's the quarterback of the future in Washington, but certainly every week he keeps reminding us of that. He's going to win Rookie of the Year, and it's deserved.
Yeah, it's locked.
And I do think that the story of not just him, but a lot of the rookies that are having success this year is also being told into the situations that they've gone to and the coaching that they have around them. We know how important coaching is in the NFL. I mean, you guys said it last week, and we probably should just clip it off and repeat it once a day, but coaches in the NFL have say over every single play. Yeah. We talked about it with Paul with coaching, asking you. I think I asked you if you had a coach that didn't know what they were talking about, and you were like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, you can overcome it in basketball.
Yeah, you can overcome
If you have bad coaching in the NFL, it's almost impossible to overcome incompetence when it comes to coaching, especially if you're a young quarterback. We know how complicated it is for the quarterback position, the adjustment of the speed, the amount of things that you need to learn, that you have to process. And that's why we're so impressed with Jayden Daniels, because he's doing all that, looking as talented as he's looking and being so poised. It's a lot that's being asked of him. I mean, it's not like he went into a situation that was established.
But he, all the way since high school, Joy, he's been prepared for this moment. And what I mean by that is the systems that he was in, whether it was with Herm Edwards at Arizona State or Brian Kelly and Denbrock at LSU.
Yeah.
He was prepared to just walk right in and be an NFL starting quarterback, getting under the center, shotgun, understanding the reads, where the hots are coming from, how, all of those sort of things are important. When you see a lot of quarterbacks, they come into the league, they're not ready for that yet because they're in these weird systems that's looking to the sideline and all the signals and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't get them prepared for the next level.
And you don't know how
some quarterbacks have never called plays in the huddle.
Right.
So when we're
now you got to go stand in front of grown men looking at you like, boy, my kids' bills are due. You better call this play the right way. Boy, you better, you see what I mean? For real, dude.
Big old beards, man.
It can't be real, dude.
6'5", 330.
Is it a lineup or no lineup?
No, they usually get lined up. They usually get lined up.
Just burly.
Unless if they're Jason Kelsey, no lineup. No lineup. But if they're Trent Williams, for sure lineup.
Yeah, Trent gets lined up.
But Key was talking about it. If the days are gone where you take a quarterback and you make him fit into what you do. The days are gone. You take quarterbacks now and you say, okay, what is it that he does? Let me go find a coach that knows how to bring the best out of that. And that's why he's having great success, I think, with Cliff Kingsbury, because they're saying, what is it that he does? And they're incorporating everything and allowing him to do it.
Well, he's also around head coaches.
Nice staff.
And guys who've had a lot of experience. And Michael Penix, too, obviously, is in a good situation in Atlanta. So flipping over to the Falcons side of this one, Michael Penix Jr. looked great in his second start, leading a game-tying drive at the end of regulation. So playmaker, is Michael Penix Jr. already the second-best rookie quarterback?
Well, I don't know if I say second best because guys have been playing pretty good, But I do see, when I saw him, I was like, man, these guys kind of remind me of each other. I'm talking about Jayden Daniels and the coolness in which they play with. Bo Nix has played well, but we remember that he was called Ferris Bueller or something like that, you know what I mean? But this mentality and that arm and what you guys were just talking about, the talent he has around him, that Atlanta's going to be different. I talked to you about this earlier. I love what Atlanta has done, and I thought that Kirk Cousins will play for a year or two, and then this kid takes over. Kirk cannot get back on the football field now.
Well,
Right. But I'm saying just how guys responded, how Drake London and all these guys talked about it after the game. Oh, this is our guy. So we're going to play, and we're going to cover him. And I'm talking about this team is going to be great for a long time. It reminds me of an early Cowboy team.
Yeah, I think he is not there yet. We've only seen a blink of him, right? 2 games.
Right.
But he certainly makes you wonder, what if they would have just said, you know what? Go sit down, Kirk. earlier, where would Atlanta be instead of fighting and hoping and praying?
I don't like Key. Let me tell you why. Because all the pressure would have been on him. See, now he can't come. He's coming in now, whatever he gives after Kurt has horribly played.
No, I'm not talking about the start.
It's all good.
I'm not talking about the start of the season, Michael. I'm talking about rather than 2 weeks ago, maybe you do it 4 weeks ago. Maybe you do it 4 weeks ago when Kirk started to play bad instead of holding on to it because of the money. They held on to it too long is all I'm saying.
Right. But I'm saying that once Kurt went so far in the tank, now we're looking for anything. So anything he delivers is victory.
No, but I'm saying, Kirk, you act like Kirk was in the tank last week. Man, Kirk been in the tank for about 6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, but before that, that was like, what was
they were in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs.
I understand that.
But he fall off the cliff.
He
you
fallen
didn't
off.
think he'll turn into a pumpkin.
Right.
No, but about 6 weeks ago, that's when he started rocking.
Yeah, but they were gonna ride it out with him. For
they were gonna ride. But if they had, in hindsight, though, I bet you Raheem them sitting there saying to themselves, we should have pulled the trigger early because we got to get rid of Kirk anyway. So we should have just did it early.
I think it's way too small of a sample size to say, I don't like to disregard more body of work just because of something that we're seeing in a small sample size. He's looked tremendous, exciting, like he's the future. It looks like they made the right decision in drafting him because that was highly critiqued to sign Kirk Cousins for all that money and draft Michael Penix Jr., and they look like geniuses now. It's completely worked out for them. Now, whether this was going to happen sooner or later with the money or Kirk at the end of this year or not, who knows? But the way that it's played out, they did the right thing. And now, he's getting meaningful time and being able to show what he's capable of. And you have momentum going into next season, no matter how this plays out, because the Bucs can win the NFC South with the winner of retire the Saints next week. So it's not really in your control, but that's not the point. The momentum, what you've seen from him, what he's been able to learn in these few weeks, knowing that this is your guy moving forward, it helps you make decisions in the offseason as well. To your point, building around him, they have everything in their favor right now, and that's great. It's not enough to evaluate to say he's the second best rookie, but everything else you have to be excited about.
Right. And it got moved up, but this is the great advantage of this. You get the greatest growth between that first year and that second year in the National Football League. But you got to be on the field to get that growth. Right. And now he's on the field, and they'll be able to study and look at everything. And then they'll go into an off season where they're working on all the things that he knows he needs to work on. And, I mean, they'll be taking off in the next 2 years.
Well, as long as Raheem don't take them timeouts in the offseason.
Right.
I try not to be a prisoner of the moment, but you can't fool the eyes. And the eye test is going to tell you everything when you just look it directly in the eye, you stare it down. And from what I see, I believe he is the second best rookie quarterback. It's just some people you can tell, when you see it right away. I just remember, I'll never forget, when Chris Paul came into the league, I played one pickup game against him. Just one game. I've never seen him in my life. I was like, this dude going to be one of the best players. You just see it. And I see it in Penix. Like, you can just see. Think about this. Like, you expect them to come out here and throw interceptions all around, just sloppy with it. He kept them in the game. They're supposed to win this game, by the way. He drove them down to tie. I mean, this dude, in the second game. This was his second game? Like, really?
He made
some mistakes.
He may be the second best quarterback in the end in this draft class.
All right, let's say talent-wise, just when I look at the talent, I see the second best talent behind Jayden Daniels. I'm talking about, like, just his arm, him in the pocket, his reads, like, his mobility. Like, talent-wise, I would say he's the second best QB rookie in the league right now.
Well, that game went a long way for him because we were all watching. It was a really important game.
And you can see why they jumped in and said, we got to take him right now.
Yeah, it looks brilliant. Moving on to the MVP race, the Bills absolutely destroyed the Jets yesterday in a record-setting day for Josh Allen. Josh became the first player ever with 5 straight seasons with 40-plus touchdowns, contributing 2 through the air and 1 on the ground in Sunday's 26-point win. So, Paul, you have been Team Josh Allen MVP for a few weeks now.
Yeah, it's time for all these other players to wave in the white flag because he sealed it. He just sealed it yesterday.
It's done?
It's done. It's done. Josh Allen is the MVP, and I'll tell you why. Who the candidates again? Lamar, Saquon. Oh, we even threw some little Burrow in there. Yeah. They want to sprinkle some Burrow in there. All right, y'all can do all that. Well, check this out. Let me tell you something. Before the season, did we not know the Ravens were going to be pretty good when they added
Derrick
Henry?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Did we not know that when you added Saquon Barkley to the Philadelphia team, who already been to a Super Bowl, they were going to be pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So they went to the Super Bowl without him. So they were already good without him. And yeah, I know the criteria, the stats, the records, all of that. But if you take Saquon off Philly, they still could probably go to the Super Bowl. They did it. They already did it. If you take Lamar off and put whoever in there, you still got Henry that can kind of do some things for you. But if you take this Buffalo team and you snatch Allen off of that team will be looking like the Jets right now. They might be a 4-win team. I think he's doing the most with the least. And his numbers aren't blowing you away like some of these other guys, but they're great. They're still great numbers. But nobody had Buffalo contending this year. Plus, they're the only team to beat the 2 top teams at the time, which was Detroit and Kansas City, when nobody really gave him a chance. They went into Detroit, and he put on a masterful performance. And when I see the moments that he's had, and Lamar's had his, Saquon's had his, and, of course, Burrow has his shined the brightest for me.
Yeah, I hope he gets the MVP, because if he doesn't get the MVP, he's going to break a lot of hearts. It's going to be a lot of hearts that's broken, because everybody just assumed he locked it up. I would say we got to see what goes on in Week 18 with Lamar. Because if Lamar goes out there and he has another Christmas Day game that just dazzle you, no matter what Josh did yesterday against the Jets, a team that, never mind, that just, I mean, like, people.
No, they're terrible.
They lost 5 games, Key.
No, I understand.
That has the record. We talk. That's in the conversation.
But my feeling is, when you're looking at Lamar, despite Derrick Henry or not, he won 2 MVPs without Derrick Henry.
Yep.
So you add Derrick Henry, you're just adding another guy that may lift a little bit of pressure, but I won 2 without him.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
when I'm looking at it in Week 18, and they need Week 18 to clinch the division, you know he's going to go out there and try to do the same thing he did on Christmas Day. And I don't think that the voters have already cast their votes. It's just, look, Josh is favored right now today. But he ain't even going to play next week against the New England Patriots, I would think.
Yeah.
So now you got Lamar that's, you know, he has to play for them to win win the division. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's tight. It's tight.
Yeah,
But you do think that Josh Allen has had an MVP level season?
Absolutely.
Oh, God, yes.
Joe Burrow's had one, but Joe Burrow's team hasn't.
But then Joe Burrow has. I can't split them hairs like that.
What I'm saying, Joe Burrow has had an MVP season, Michael.
It's more boxes that you got to check in this conversation.
It's just more. That's all. His team hasn't.
Joe Burrow has done me an enormous favor, because I no longer have to argue about how excellent he is.
I don't buy that.
But I'm not. He can't win the MVP.
I know that, but I'm saying when Michael said, I mean, you asked me.
I'm just reading the odds.
You asked me if Josh Allen's had an MVP season. I said, yeah. But I think Joe Burrow's had 2, but his team hasn't.
Right. But it's most valuable player to the league, or most valuable player in this league is determined by how valuable you are to your team.
Absolutely.
And we can't say your most valuable player, even to your team, certainly in this league, when what you're producing isn't going towards the wins. You know what I mean? Like Josh Allen, everything this dude has done has screamed MVP.
I hope you get it.
I came into this season saying I'm expecting this team to fall off.
Right.
And this team did not fall off. As a matter of fact, they're playing better than they were when they were more talented. And that's what makes him the most valuable player in the National Football League. You just talked about Jayden Daniels and all that he does not have around him.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's
He
the same.
has less than that. No,
that
he has
goes
less.
for him, too.
He
doesn't
has
have.
even less than Jay Daniels have around him on offense. And he's getting it done. So for me, absolutely, he locked up MVP. So if he doesn't play next week, he'll get his trophy. He locked up MVP. Now, the big thing is what he does in the playoffs.
So right now, the odds got him -300, Lamar plus 225. That sounds close to me.
Can I piss everyone off like I usually do? Saquon should be the MVP.
Whoa.
If Saquon was doing what he's doing, the equivalent of that at the quarterback position, he would be the MVP. The reason he's not MVP is because he plays running back.
Yeah.
Only 8 other players in the history of the NFL have done what he did yesterday. 8. We watched the Eagles last year. We watched the Eagles last year. They were not what they are this year. Now, there's other things that have been adjusted, but he, with our eyeballs, have seen the impact that he has had on this team. If he was playing the quarterback position and doing all these things, checking the boxes, stats, wins, wins over replacement, significance to the league, he would be the MVP. The reason he's not the MVP is because he plays the running back position. He should be the MVP. And it should already be locked up because we're already discussing if he needs to play next week because they have had such a good season that next week doesn't matter.
Right.
So Saquon should be the MVP. Now, he's not going to win the MVP because that's not what we do with this award. But unequivocally, he has done something that only 8 other players have done in the history of the league.
Right.
Rushed for over 2,000 yards. He should be the MVP.
And then if he break it, he's going to be the only one.
Right, and they have to decide if they're even going to play him because they're so good that they don't need him to play next week in order to break that.
How do you, if he breaks the record, how do you not give it to a man that broke a record that's still for 40
They're going to argue that he did it in 17 games instead of 16, although it will have been done in less carries.
Right, we were discussing that earlier. Like it's less carries, and there's better athletes on the field playing defense.
But
now.
he won't. One of the reasons he won't get it though, Joy, even if he broke the record.
But that's the craziness.
Because they've been trying to give it to Josh for about 4 years. Now he's finally got there.
I understand.
To the point where
Saquon is not going to win the MVP. I understand that. I'm just saying, if we were, I hate using the word fair, if we were reasonable about the impact of all players in the NFL, and if we were just, Saquon would be the MVP, and we wouldn't even be having this topic today. We would be talking about who should be second in the MVP. Josh Allen has had an MVP season. Lamar has had an MVP season. And we can go down the list of the other guys that we can have in the conversation.
Running backs from the equation. We said they're not even important anymore, and this man comes in and rattles the cage. So, but when you don't get it and you have these kinds of seasons, that's why you say, let's change it.
No, there should be a quarterback award.
Let's stop this.
There should be a quarterback award.
Best quarterback in the league.
If you can have a season like Saquon had and not even be considered for the MVP.
But we have that. We have it all the time. We got receivers doing triple crowns, and we're not even considering. That means you won on all levels, all the way around.
Jamar Chase is going to hit the triple crown this year, right?
Right, we're not even talking about it. Yeah, because they're losing. But Saquon's
team is winning.
Is winning.
So he's checking every single box, including significance to the league in this season because he's done something only 8 other players have ever done in rushing for over 2,000 yards in 16 games. So he should be the MVP, but we're not going to give it to Saquon. So moving down from that, I think it is splitting hairs between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I agree with you, Key. If Lamar comes out next week and has another spectacular performance in a game that matters to them, that is probably going to influence the voters a lot. But I said at the very beginning of the season that this season was the perfect setup for Josh Allen to win the MVP because no one expected anything from them this year. The Jets were supposed to win. The Dolphins were supposed to win the division. They were supposed to struggle. He wasn't going to have enough on either side of the ball. None of that has turned out to be true. And he has corrected something in his game that was clearly influencing them losing, which was turning the ball over. So he's had an MVP-level season, but it's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, but when you overachieve and put up the numbers, you know, like that has to mean something.
People are also saying that he shouldn't win the MVP over Lamar Jackson because he plays in the AFC East.
I think that Lamar's team has been disappointing this year. They've been disappointed. They've won 11 games. They've been disappointing. You lost to the Raiders, like Cleveland. That has to say something toward that. And then on the flip side, he beats Kansas. So listen, Kansas City has won 21 of 22 games. They lost us to the Buffalo Bills.
So you know.
In 22 games, the Chiefs have lost to only the Buffalo Bills in last 22 games.
They lose to the Bills all the time in the regular season.
Yeah, but not this time. Not this year. Chiefs supposed to go undefeated this year, it seemed like.
And I don't know you can say they lose to anybody all the time. The man said 22 straight games. They lose to the Bills in
the regular season. Michael, they lose to the Bills in the regular season every damn year, it feels like. Every year.
Boy, that's Yeah, they were 3-0 and 0-3.
Either way, I think it's been an incredible year. I prefer to watch good football and when the stars are starring And that's what we've gotten this year from all the top players, really. We've been, as bad as the injuries have been, we've gotten really great play from a lot of the stars at the quarterback position,
coming down to the end of the season.
Dude, listen.
the year is over.
Dude, this has been in
We
the
play
last
football, man.
game of the year will determine the seed. First seed. Dude, that's going to be
that Detroit game?
insane.
Detroit,
That you
Minnesota?
line that up for Sunday. Oh, my God, man, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Detroit, Minnesota.
Right.
No, it actually turned out to be a big weekend. There's a lot on the line coming up this weekend.
Man,
Well,
you
they
can go
got it
from in
right,
Detroit. You can go from the 1
To 5.
to 5. I've been there
Like
before, though,
Right,
just like that.
Just like that. Yeah, yep.
Gonna be a big
just
game.
like that.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.